Hi, I'm Melissa Davis, and welcome to Hello Prime Life, where midlife isn't a crisis, it's your comeback. I'm sitting in a bland corporate boardroom, staring at a PowerPoint slide 45 minutes into a meeting about a meeting, and feeling my eye twitch as I mentally calculated how many hours of my life I was never going to get back. My career used to involve presenting and producing live-to-air TV and running my own production crew. And now, I can't change a font colour without 3 signatures in triplicate. Every creative instinct strangled by bureaucracy. It was supposed to be the dream job, the career progression, the title, the validation that I'd made it. So why did I feel like I was suffocating? That's when it hit me. I wasn't struggling because I'd failed. I was struggling because I'd succeeded at someone else's definition of success. The terrifying part? I'd been so focused on achieving their goals, I'd never stopped to ask if they matched mine. That world's long behind me now, but I can still recall exactly what that boardroom air tasted like. If you've ever achieved something you thought you wanted, only to feel oddly empty afterward. If you've looked at your perfectly fine life and wondered, is this it? This episode is for you, because there's a world of difference between living a fine life and living a prime one. So what exactly is a prime life? Well, I can tell you, it's not flawlessly lit Instagram shots of your avocado toast or a Marie Kondo'd linen cupboard. You see, a prime life isn't about perfection. It's about permission. Permission to want more. Permission to change direction. Permission to live in a way that finally feels like you. Let's break it down. Let me start with what a prime life isn't, because this is where I see women get stuck, chasing someone else's version of the good life. It's not about having it all figured out or ticking off some imaginary should list. I worked with a successful business owner who came to me completely exhausted, dragging herself out of bed at daybreak for meditation she hated, and struggling through workout routines and meal prepping that felt more grind than energizing. "I'm doing everything the wellness gurus say I should," she told me. "Why do I feel worse than when I started?" But what she wasn't saying out loud, she thought if she could just follow the formula perfectly, she'd finally feel like she had her life together. Like all those overwhelming, inadequate feelings would disappear if she could just be disciplined enough. She was performing wellness instead of living it. Discipline without desire is just another cage. I'll tell you what I told her. You don't have to wake up at 5 a.m. for mindfulness mantras, downward dog and green juice, unless that totally lights you up, in which case, juice away, no judgment here. But if you're forcing yourself through a list of things you think you should be doing instead of things you actually want to do, you're not really living. You're just playing by somebody else's scorecard. None of it matters if that's not actually you. So let me show you what prime living actually looks like, not as a template, but as an example. You want to know what my Sundays used to look like? I'd wake up with my stomach already tight, mentally running through everything I hadn't done during the week, the inbox that needed clearing, the errands I'd put off, the life admin that piled up while I was busy being productive for everyone else. By 9 a.m, I'd already be 2 hours into my weekend workday, unpaid, unnoticed, and completely unavailable to myself. Now, Sunday mornings are mine. Coffee at the beach, no phone, no agenda. Sometimes I read. Sometimes I just sit there watching the ocean and thinking about nothing. That 2 hours of doing absolutely nothing productive, that's prime living. That shift didn't happen because my life got less busy. It happened because I decided the world could wait 2 hours for me to exist. My calendar used to be wall-to-wall commitments, Client meetings, networking events I should attend, coffee dates with people who sapped my energy, but I felt compelled to stay in touch with. Now I have no appointments weeks. Every second week, no meetings, no calls, just space to think, create, and breathe. The first time I blocked out a full week, I felt guilty as hell. Now it's non-negotiable. I used to say yes to every opportunity that came my way, because what if I never got asked again? What if saying no meant missing out on something? Now I say no to things that look impressive but feel wrong. Like when a TV network offered me a show that looked like everything I should want, but felt completely wrong for where I am now. The old me would have said yes to prove I still had it. The Prime Life version? Walked away without looking back. Prime living isn't about having more. It's about protecting what matters. It's not waking up excited every single day. Let's be realistic. It's waking up knowing that if today feels off, I have the tools to course correct instead of just pushing through. It's choosing relationships that energize me instead of ones I maintain out of obligation. It's work that fills me up instead of empties me out. It's finally living in a way that feels like me, messy, imperfect, and unapologetically mine. That's what a prime life looks like. Not perfect, just permission. There's no universal recipe for this. What lights you up might leave someone else cold. And that's exactly the point. For me, the shift started with small boundary decisions. Walking away from one-sided friendships where I was the free therapist, but no one ever asked what was going on for me. That felt selfish at first, but those small choices created space for what actually mattered. The bigger shift came when I gave myself permission to step back from the business I'd built. Downsizing from a small team to a team of one may have looked like failure to everyone watching. To me, it felt like finally choosing myself. Some people are genuinely content with their fine lives, but if you're secretly craving more clarity, vitality, confidence, or joy, you don't have to settle. The shift from fine to prime happens when you stop accepting whatever comes your way and start giving yourself permission to choose what stays. But here's what nobody tells you. You're going to piss some people off. When I walked away from those unfulfilling friendships, there were questions. And when I downsized the business, people thought I was having some kind of crisis. Because society has some very specific expectations for what midlife women should want. We're told we should be grateful for what we have. We're expected to settle into our season. We get the message that we've left our run too late, that we missed our moment, that it's somehow selfish to want more now. Want to know what's really happening? People aren't exactly thrilled when a woman decides she's no longer available for playing by the rules. When you stop being predictable, when you stop making everyone else's life easier at the expense of your own, it makes them uncomfortable. That discomfort shows up as concern that's not actually concerned. Are you sure you want to rock the boat? Oh, that's nice, but is it realistic at your age? I just don't want you to regret this later. Don't you think you're being a bit selfish? Must be nice to have that kind of freedom, said with a tight smile that means the opposite. I'm worried about you. You're not yourself lately. Translation, you're not who I need you to be. Those aren't expressions of care. They're attempts to get you back in line. That's not your fault, but it is your challenge to navigate. And part of living a prime life means learning to spot those messages and choose your own truth anyway. Because I don't know about you, but I'm here to live out loud, not tiptoe through my own life. Some days I'm not sure I'm living my prime life at all. Some days I wake up anxious, second-guessing everything, wondering if I made the right calls. Some days, nothing feels easy. The difference now? I don't think those days mean I'm doing it wrong. Before, one hard day would send me spiralling. See, you can't handle this. You should have just stayed where you were. Now I know hard days are part of it. They don't erase the good ones. They're just Tuesday. But then there are the other days. The Sunday beach mornings, the no appointments weeks where I finally exhale. The moments where I catch myself thinking, this is what I was craving. A prime life isn't static. It's not a destination where everything feels perfect all the time, all rainbows and unicorns. It's having enough good days that the hard ones don't flatten you anymore. It wasn't neat. It definitely wasn't linear. There were moments of complete terror, like the night before I told my team I was downsizing, lying awake wondering if I was making a massive mistake. And moments of absolute clarity, like the first Sunday morning after I'd cleared my calendar, sitting at the beach thinking, this is what freedom feels like. I'm still evolving, because a prime life doesn't have a final form. It's about living in sync with what matters to you right now and trusting yourself to adjust as you grow. The permission you're waiting for? It's never coming. Your partner isn't going to sit you down and say, I release you from all obligations. Go live your dream. Your mother isn't going to call and say, I was wrong about what you should want. The world isn't suddenly going to decide you deserve more. The only person who can give you permission is you, and you have to give it to yourself before you feel ready. You don't need anyone else's approval to live a prime life, not your partner, your boss, your mother, or your ex-husband. You do need to sign some permission slips for yourself, though. Permission to want more than what you have, even if what you have is perfectly fine. Permission to change your mind about decisions you made a decade ago when you were a completely different person. Permission to disappoint people who expect you to stay exactly the same. Permission to restructure the success you built if it's costing you more than it gives. And let's be entirely real. Permission not to give a toss about the school cake stall or the neighbourhood committee because your bandwidth is currently booked out. Your prime life doesn't have to look like mine or anyone else's. It just has to feel like yours. No static, no distortion, just you living loud and clear. So what would living a prime life look like for you this week? Try this prime power move. Give yourself permission to want one thing you've been talking yourself out of. Not the big scary life overhaul, just one thing. Maybe it's finally having that honest conversation about boundaries, or actually booking that massage you keep saying you don't have time for, or choosing the weekend retreat over the family obligation that always leaves you drained. Not someday when the timing's perfect, just this week. See how it feels. Consider this a reminder that you're allowed to start living for you. Next week, we're talking about how your morning routine isn't the problem. Spoiler alert, you can perfect the routine and still feel like garbage by 10 a.m. Turns out the routine was never the issue. Next week, we're talking about how your morning routine isn't the problem. Spoiler alert, you can perfect the routine and still feel like garbage by 10 a.m. Turns out the routine was never the issue. Until then, remember, your prime life is calling. This isn't a crisis, it's your comeback. And even if the middle of this transition feels messy, complicated, and entirely unglamorous, answer it anyway. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you in the next episode.